Shocking illnesses, horrifying car crashes, and allegations of racism. The cast of The Today Show may seem all bright and cheery when the cameras are on, but behind the scenes, their lives are far from perfect. In both his 2020 book, You Look So Much Better in Person, True Stories of Absurdity and Success, and its promotional tour, Al Roker spoke about encountering racist attitudes throughout his career, with one such instance remarkably happening live on air. In an interview with Today colleague Craig Melvin, Roker explained the incident occurred in the 70s while he was working alongside Doug Adair as a weatherman for WKYC in Cleveland. One particular evening, an African-American homeless man bopped Roker's colleague on the head with a newspaper during a downtown walk. Roker recalled, "The next day we get on the air and his wife, Mona, is about to introduce me. And he goes, 'Mona, before you introduce Al, I don't know if you know this, but last night, one of your people attacked me.'" Roker admitted that he was left bewildered by the comment, but tried to brush it off in front of the cameras. He explained,
"I just looked at him, I go, Doug, why would a weatherman attack you?" And then just went into the weather.
Adair's remark didn't go unnoticed by the viewers at home, who, in the pre-social media age, lit up the station's switchboard. In 2019, Savannah Guthrie suffered a bizarre injury when her 2-year-old son, Charlie, threw his favorite toy train at her eye, accidentally tearing her retina in the process. The Today host was left temporarily blind by the incident, which forced her to take time off from her morning show duties.
It was so blurry from, not to get too gross, but there was so much blood inside the eye that it completely blocked my vision.
Although Guthrie hoped that her recovery would be quick, it proved to be anything but. She was forced to undergo 3 separate surgeries over the following 18 months, a period in which she also developed cataracts. But the star was still able to joke about the accident, telling People magazine that Charlie still has the offending truck, which her daughter had labeled the weapon. She joked, "Honestly, I should have thrown it in the trash, but he likes that train." Those who grew up watching Carson Daly hold court with the biggest pop stars of the era on MTV's Total Request Live would assume that he had confidence in spades. But in fact, Daly has endured panic attacks and generalized anxiety disorder for his entire career. He explained to USA Today, "You may think my life's perfect. I've got kids. I always look happy on TV or when you watch me on The Voice, but that's just not how it works. It's not like that."
Looking back on my life, I was a worrywart kid. I was always worrying.
In a 2023 chat on Today, which coincided with World Mental Health Day, Daly recalled one particular moment on The Voice that he experienced a severe panic attack. He said, "It felt like really intense fight or flight, like you have to run off the stage. You feel like your equilibrium's off, your heart's racing. Basically like there's an imminent threat in your life, but there isn't. And so you just have to hold on because it usually passes in about 30 seconds. The former VJ has been attempting to help destigmatize such conditions via his work on the Today segment, Mind Matters.
I mean, I really wear the way I am like a badge of honor. This is who I am, and I'm proud of it.
In 2023, Craig Melvin hosted the Bottoms Up Invitational, a celebrity golfing event designed to raise both funds and awareness for colon cancer for the 2nd year running. It's a cause close to his heart, having lost a brother to the disease. Following a lengthy battle, Lawrence Meadows died from stage 4 cancer in 2020, a tragedy which the Today host believes could have been avoided. He told People, "The reality is, had Lawrence gotten checked earlier, he might still be with us, but we didn't know about our family history, and there were signs that he ignored." Melvin went on to reveal that Meadows had experienced everything from sudden weight loss to abdominal pains before finally seeing a doctor. In his interview with People, Melvin also spoke about his involvement with the charity event, saying, "I've always thought that when terrible things happen to you, and terrible things happen to all of us at some point, I think that we're all obligated to take the terrible things and turn them into something positive." Al Roker got personal in 2020 when he revealed that he received a diagnosis of prostate cancer.
I was very fortunate. We caught it early. It was an aggressive form of prostate cancer, but we caught it very early.
Thankfully, Roker's treatment proved to be a success, and he was back to work within a few months. The anchor couldn't have been more grateful for all of the well wishes he'd been sent.
And the outpouring of love and support that I have received from all of you, including the prayers, have been truly heartening.
But Roker also realized that he wasn't completely out of the woods. He's going to continue testing for the rest of his life, which is something he hopes will inspire others to do the same, especially considering the fact that African-American men are 50% more likely to get prostate cancer.
I just want people to get checked, get their prostate checked, and especially if you're a man of color.
Carson Daly suffered every child's worst nightmare when he was just 5 years old. He lost his father, James J.D. Daly, to bladder cancer. Even decades on, the Today host still thinks about him every single day. Daly makes sure to honor his biological dad, who worked as a car salesman, whenever he can. In 2023, he commemorated Father's Day by firing up the 1977 Corvette once owned by his dad, which resides in his driveway. He told Today, "I don't drive it that much anymore, but on Father's Day, I'll take it to go get coffee and I'll think of my dad. I drove in that exact car when I was a little boy." 3 years earlier, he touchingly recreated a photo of his father pouring a gin and tonic with the help of his sister Quinn. He explained during the Today segment,
That photo has been like speaking to me over the past 3 months. I've got so many questions about it.
2017 was a bad year for Daly. First, the star's mom suffered a fatal heart attack. Then, just 5 weeks later, he lost his stepfather to bone cancer.
It's just been it's been a crazy month. It's just been really, really hard.
Daly paid tribute to his stepfather, whom he called Dad, describing him as a role model and mentor who taught him several valuable life lessons. He said, "My mom had all the sayings and isms. You know, you can shoot for the stars. And my dad woke up early, went to work, had a great deep personal faith that I later in life would gravitate towards."
I realize the more pain that I feel in losing my parents is testament to how much of an impact they made in my life.
Laura Jarrett also lost her father at a young age. The journalist was only 10 years old when her dad went into a fatal cardiac arrest. William Robert Jarrett, who had just been appointed Jackson Park Hospital's director of obstetrics and gynecology, fell ill shortly after giving a medical lecture and died en route to the hospital at the age of 40.
Family was everything to us.
Willie Geist was perhaps always destined to anchor the Sunday edition of Today more than any other. After all, his father, Bill Geist, served as a correspondent on various CBS News programs, including CBS Sunday Morning, for a good 30 years. Sadly, Bill had to spend much of his latter-day career battling Parkinson's disease. Bill was diagnosed with the condition in 1992, but decided against telling his children the news for over 10 years. Willie told Brain and Life in 2020, he was of the mind that you shouldn't concern people with your problems. Bill also kept his condition a secret from the public. He eventually revealed it on air in 2012. Willie recalled what it was like to watch the emotional moment, saying, "We were watching, applauding, and crying a bit." In 2021, Sheinelle Jones revealed the devastating news that she had previously suffered a miscarriage. In a personal essay for Today's website, the mother of 3 wrote that the tragedy had occurred while she was at a journalism conference, but she'd been experiencing complications for some time beforehand. She recalled, "I remember finding out that something was wrong. The doctor told me the baby's heartbeat was weak. In response, I did what a lot of women do. I just kept moving forward." Jones said that, at the time, she felt at the time as though her sadness would never end. She did take a couple of days off from work, but was soon back. She wrote, "It was so painful, but I think you take the grief and tuck it away somewhere as you move forward in life." Having since given birth to twins and a son without any problems, the anchor hopes that her story can reassure women who have gone through a similar tragedy. Sadly, Jones isn't the only Today regular to have endured the heartache of a miscarriage. In 2023, Jenna Bush Hager revealed to Hoda Kotb that she had also experienced a miscarriage. Hager revealed that before giving birth to her oldest child, Mila, she had an ectopic pregnancy.
At the time, because I had to have surgery, it felt really hard.
Hager, who's also mom to daughter Poppy and son Hal, grew to believe that the tragedy may have happened for a reason. She said, "When I look at those 3 kids' faces, had that baby lived, the other 3 wouldn't necessarily be mine."
And I always think about those little twists that felt like the hardest heartbreaks.
Dylan Dreyer spent more than a decade covering the weather on TV without ever succumbing to the elements. But that all changed in 2013, a year into her stint at NBC News, when the meteorologist was involved in a terrifying car crash. Dreyer was traveling to Hartford, Connecticut from the Big Apple when her vehicle spun out of control. She told Zap2It, "It's so winding, and once we got to Connecticut, the roads deteriorated instantly, and I ended up hitting my head. Luckily, she only suffered a mild concussion from the accident." In February 2023, Savannah Guthrie had to leave the Today Show early after testing positive for COVID-19.
It came back positive, so of course, as soon as we found out, she rushed home to rest up.
No doubt, Guthrie was experiencing a case of deja vu, for this was the 3rd time that she had been struck down by the virus in just a little over a year. Guthrie was first forced to step away from her TV duties in January 2022, shortly after fellow Today star Hoda Kotb had tested positive too. Then, 4 months later, she tested positive again and had to take time off. But while Guthrie's colleagues offered her well wishes, not everyone felt the Today crew was handling the situation appropriately. Megyn Kelly, for one, criticized how seriously they were taking the diagnosis.
I mean, all of it is just such a perfect indication of how the left, and especially the left in New York, continues to live.